Is there anybody there?
Alrighty, well, welcome everybody to yet another episode of the Dad Hat Chronicles. My name is Ed, also known as the Dad Hat. I'm going to introduce, as always, my co-host, Val, the Stadium Food Girl. What's going on, girl?
Hi. Such a fabulous Monday. So happy to be on. I love starting my week this way.
It's absolutely wonderful, isn't it? Let's just get this started. All right, so guys, I got a real treat for you guys. This is not set up by me. This was set up by my co-host, Val. I'm going to leave the floor to you because this is your guest. I'm very excited about this, but I want you to do the proper introduction. So go ahead.
I'm so excited. Okay, perfect. Well, today we have on a very special guest, an awesome friend of mine, the one and only Chef Garry, executive chef of the Las Vegas Aviators AAA affiliate of the Oakland A's. Correct. Chef Garry, thank you so much for being here with us today.
No, it's a pleasure. I mean, I'm super excited myself, as you know, right? We love doing our things at the ballpark and all the pretty and good tasting food that we do. So, I mean, I'm here for you guys. So ask your questions away or just let me ramble on. Totally up to you.
I'm gonna ask you questions. The first question is honestly, how did you fall into this great opportunity? I mean, because this is when we think of ballpark food, what they used to be back in the day, where I was like, oh, it's just regular hot dogs and burgers. Yeah. I mean, it's evolved so much into an art form. So what you do and what a lot of other chefs do at ballparks is something that I'll never be good at. Let's be honest about that. So, but how did you fall into this?
So, I grew up, I was cooking when I was younger. I started cooking about 14. I was making pizzas. I was an old pizza maker back in New Jersey because that's where I'm from. And when I moved out to Vegas here, there were actually zero, maybe a few places that made New York style pizza. So, no one wanted to hire me. And I thought, I don't want to eat pizza out of a pan. So I started looking at I knew food. So I started looking for places where I could just kind of cook and do some of my stuff, mostly Italian food. So started out in a small Italian restaurant here in Vegas, and then just, meeting people, networking, learning as I go. I started doing more and more. And then, I wound up actually downtown. I was working for the Grand Hotel that's down there now. It used to be the Lady Luck Casino back in the day. So I wound up cooking there. I became a sous chef there. And then I opened up their Italian restaurant as the room chef. And then I went on to the Luxor. And as I keep going, I'm learning more. I'm doing more. I went to the Luxor as a fine dining room chef. And then we opened up a huge steakhouse, which I took over. Next thing you know, people want me to go work for them, all that good stuff. And
on demand.
Yeah. So I wound up going actually to the Hard Rock Hotel back in the 2000s, early 2000s. And it was there that I started doing a lot of different things with food, doing what we call wow items, sort of making these specialties. And then I actually did some TV. I did news segments. I did Rachel Ray. I did a few things. So I just progressed. And then from there, I actually went into racing. I wound up getting hired at the Las Vegas Motor Speedway as the executive sous chef. And that is where my sports and entertainment came in. So if you guys know racing, right? Racing is very similar to baseball. Their food, if you've been to a race, they got they got the huge turkey legs, and they got, pulled pork sundaes and all sorts of craziness. So started, picking that stuff up. And I was there for about 4 years. And then we opened up T-Mobile Arena. I wound up opening the building as the executive chef. So now here we are, big time. We get a sports team, we get the Golden Knights, and of course we had to kill them. We just had to do it there. So by the way, everything you see at T-Mobile is from me. They learned.
Oh, there you go.
Val. So
A
when
little
you
humble
go,
brag, right?
that's right. Anyway, and then the ballpark opened in Summerlin, and they wanted to run it like T-Mobile Arena. They wanted the food stylings to be like T-Mobile Arena. So they asked me if I wanted to do it, and I was like, yeah, I mean, I'd love to. I've done many events. I've done the Grammys, Super Bowl, World Series. I've done all these type of events. So I was like, yeah, let me get in here and do this. And you know, we really hit it out of the park when we opened that ballpark, and continuing it to this day, just trying to create really cool, fun food for the fans to experience.
All right, Val, you undersold it. Like, I mean, this man is like a superstar here. You know, like,
It really is.
wow. I got so many questions, but I'm gonna let Val go first because I got 1,000 questions. I just came as soon as you were talking.
I mean, yeah, no, I'm not gonna lie, I didn't know about the Grammys part.
Yeah,
and all that.
I've done all those. So, I mean, I've probably done every major sports event. The Super Bowl was here last year, so I actually did that. But I've done every major sporting event, almost every musical event that there possibly could be. I've done PGA golf, I've done tennis, I've done all the sports related stuff. Of course, racing, too much racing, but baseball too. Baseball is probably the most fun though because we're outside.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so I gotta ask because I'm turning into a racing fan here. Okay,
Oh,
not
okay,
NASCAR,
cool.
not so much NASCAR. Okay,
All right,
because,
we did NHRA too. We did
right. So you got NHRA, you got IndyCar that's gone through there. Now you got Formula One, who is like, you know, established themselves. Like, how? Like, I mean, that's just like that's like one of the coolest events. Like, I mean, because I mean, it's like as posh as it gets. You know what I mean? Like, that's like next level.
Yeah, I mean, believe it or not, you know, racing really kind of got me into the sports theme here. You know, because back then I was doing more Vegas-y style food, all that kind of good stuff, right? But once I got into racing, you know, it was really again totally different for me. You know, we're outside. You know, we're cooking outside. We're cooking in garages. We're doing all these racing programs, and at the Speedway they do a lot of testing there. So any new vehicles that are coming out for the next year, or even, you know, under the cover, you know, on the DL type of cars, they would go to Vegas and they would test them out. So, you know, we would cook for those racing teams and all those you know, automobile you know, everybody, Chevy, Ford, Dodge, you know, everybody, Ferrari, all those guys, Lamborghini. So I've actually driven. They let me drive a stock car, a NASCAR stock car on the track. That was fun.
I bet it was.
It was fun. I mean, I think I only got to like about 150 because let me tell you something. Believe it or not, that's a little rough, you know, going faster than that.
Scary.
Yeah, it isn't that easy.
I did 2 bills. Well,
wow.
Not me, in a BMW. And let me tell you, that has been the most terrified I've been in my life.
I got to tell you, it is a little scary. I hand it off to those drivers there because, I mean, it is, and it's a lot of work too. It's hot in those cars. It's really tight. You know, you got to enter through the windows. You got this helmet on, you know, and the steering wheel just comes off if you want it to. It's like, you know,
I'm 6'2", so you know, it's like,
no, yeah, right. Yeah, I'm not quite there. I'm 5'11", but still enough for me. I'm a little portly. I'm a little thicker. So,
but then you hit yourself on the top of the car and everything. It's I get it.
It's super fun. So, and you know, we had Dream Racing out there at the Speedway. And we had Exotics. They used to be there. I'm not sure if they're still there. I don't think they are. But you know, so we ran the dining room there for Exotics, where, you know, as people are waiting to drive their cars, you know, we fed them and all that good stuff. It was super fun stuff.
I'm at a loss for words. Go ahead, Val.
Okay, I have a question.
Go ahead. I'm thirsty. Let me go.
So as you know, one of my most favorite things about what you do at the LV Ballpark are the curated burgers and hot dogs for cities. How do you get into doing the research for that? Because I have to say I was very shocked in a good way to see that you kept the ideas coming. This year, almost all of the burgers changed, and then you introduced hot dogs this year, which is crazy.
Correct. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But like I thought, you know, when I saw real quick in 2019, that's when I really started to learn that foods could get this creative. It wasn't even at the Rangers ballpark where I'm from. Right. I have to say it was the El Paso, the Chihuahua dog is what really was one of like the first things that I saw at that ballpark and thought, you know what, I'm going to make a vlog with this because it's different. And now last year you did the Chico Scrunch Wrap. It's like every year you get so creative with these, but you keep it within like the city.
Yeah. So what I try to do is, you know, for every ball team we play, we kind of look for the region, the state, the city, kind of what they might be known for, specialty foods or things like, you know, homegrown, whatever it might be, you know, farming, whatever it is that a city or that a region is kind of known for. We try to create an item that is going to incorporate that stuff there, right? So get a little taste of the home if you're from whoever we're playing. So it's just more or less, actually, it is kind of, so I you can't see it here, but I have a big library of books here, of cooking books. And I am actually one of those guys where I buy cookbooks from everywhere, right? So I kind of know, or I want to know all the different regions and kind of what they're famous for and what they do. And even all the little places and all these little mom and pop type of places, kind of the stuff that they do and they do well, right? Because we all know, like where we come from, we always say, oh man, no, you don't want to go there. I got a place that makes the best, whatever it is. I'm going to take you there, right? And so that's kind of what we look for. So I will actually try to visit the area. And luckily for me, I travel, right? I do travel. So I can kind of investigate and see what's out there and see what they're known for and famous for. And then, of course, I also have my hookups with connections. I probably know somebody in at least every state because of the sports and entertainment of what we do. So, and I know many chefs, and, you know, Levy is a huge business. So, you know, there's places, I don't know, we have over 400 properties. So, you know, if there's something that I can't really find, I kind of ask. But I will do research as far as Googling or whatever it might be. But I usually go to small, like I might even do things like ask. I'll go to a restaurant and I see their menu, let's just say it's El Paso. And I see a menu. I go online and I look at a place and I see some of the food. And then usually at every website there is, you know, contact us. So I usually just email them. I tell them who I am, very interested in kind of wanting to know a little bit about their food. I can honestly say almost everyone reaches back out to me. And I just kind of ask them questions like you guys, like, you know, hey, what are you guys famous for? What do you do great? What is your demographic? What is, you know, your most favorite? I just have a whole list of items that I ask these folks. And then usually they come back and they tell me, and then I just piece it all together. That's just the first part, right?
I was just going to say, I was like, here comes, bring me my favorite part.
The second part is creating it, right? being the mad scientist, right? So I will tell you, for every, you know, great food item that we create, there might be one that was not so good, right? So luckily, my laboratory is my kitchen, and so luckily I can play and I can do things there. So I'll piece it together, and then I will honestly tell you too. I have two chefs that work for me. Val, you know them, Roger and Chef Antonio, and I get them involved too. Like, I want them to have a piece of it. So all three of us will work on it. For the most part, I am the yes or no guy, meaning it works or it doesn't work. But, you know, it's always good to get those other ideas. And you know, they might just say, hey, chef, you know what? Instead of this, instead of regular bacon, let's do jalapeno bacon. And then it's all right, let's try it. Let's give it a shot. And then we see it, and it works. Oh, great. Awesome. So that's kind of how we start it. We build it. And then, you know, we got to hope that the fans like it, right? So I would say though, most of the time they enjoy it. It's
I would
fun.
say so too. I would say
Yeah.
so.
Yeah,
I was just gonna say, I think someone has been blogging about it a little bit here and there, you know.
yeah, and she's like my biggest fan for that, right? So it's been great having Val there because, you know, I actually every now and then, you know, I let her into some, you know, things that might not be ready to get out there yet. You know, I tell her some little secrets, and you know, she gets excited, I get excited, and then, you know, we go from there. But looking at you know, just trying to create. So we usually have, I believe, 13 homestands in our season, and we play a lot of the same teams now twice. So, but I usually have to create about 10 to 11 different styles of burger or hot dog. So
Let me ask you, because obviously Vegas is going to be the one now that is going to be hosting the AAA championship, right?
correct.
And you're doing, you're planning, which by the way, I am planning on going, Val. I mean,
You gotta go.
you know, after hearing this, I'm like, I gotta go, right? But, and it's during my birthday weekend too. On top of that,
Yeah.
whew, have mercy. My question to you is like, how far in advance do you do any kind of planning for like big events like that, or like, you know, or like your homestead? Like, I'm sure there has to be some planning ahead.
So there's actually two timelines here. For the season, right?
Mhm.
Once we get the schedule, which is usually February, or I'm sorry, January, maybe even December of the year of the schedule for the next year, that's when I start. So, but that doesn't necessarily mean that I'm actually starting from scratch there, because I'm writing ideas down. I was mentioning this to someone else. I actually have a black book where I write down all my ideas. And
Smart. Yeah.
yeah, and I mean, there's some that have been sitting there for a year or two, and there's some that, you know, I can get going with quickly. So I just write down a lot of my ideas, but I actually try to start almost a whole year apart. So come August, September, I start doing those type of opponent items. So close to about a good year ahead, or at least 9 months, 9 months ahead. Now, for your championship game in Vegas, what I'll do is probably I have to kind of wait to see who's going to be playing. So right
That's
now,
right.
we're not 100% sure, right? I mean, who won the first half? Shoot, I can't remember. Who won?
I think Sugarland Ferrari.
Yeah, Sugarland. Yeah, okay.
For the PCL.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we're gonna, we already know that they're in it, and then we got to see who the other one is, and then we'll go from there. Normally, for something like that, I will create one burger usually, with a little bit of both involved in the burger, but it just depends. It just depends how what items are available. Because a lot of stuff is seasonal that I will use. I don't use like cheap stuff that isn't good. You know what I mean? Like, so as far as hatch chilies, right? I try to get hatch chilies that are seasonal. I can buy frozen hatch chilies. I'm sure I can, but we try to get them fresh from our produce company, and then they will actually even roast them for us, because they have that service where they'll roast the hatch chilies for us, and then they'll send it to us fresh, and then we just dice it up. And then depending how much we buy, I might have to freeze some. But other than that, that's kind of like the route that we take as far as creating these things. So it's fun though.
So right now, just wanted to put that out there. Like, you have the two teams, right? So you got the Sugarland
Right.
team, and then
Right.
you got the Norfolk Tides. So Virginia.
Correct. So right now, correct. So while we already have a Sugarland burger, we already do that. I probably though will take pieces of that, and then pieces of the Tide possibly, to create something. Or I might just say this isn't going to work, so I'm going to do two burgers. I mean, honestly, I will kind of. It's the problem though is it's just one game.
Yeah.
There's only one championship game, so again, I don't want to buy something and have way too much of it. That's the chef in me saying, I don't want to sit on a bunch of stuff if we don't sell it. So it's kind of a fine line.
So that is just fascinating now. Like, just hearing all this, right?
Yeah,
I didn't go last year, but I went the year before, and it was the Durham Bulls and Nashville Sounds. And I think, Chef, you put together a mac and cheeseburger.
Yeah.
Still
yeah. We did something like, and I want to say, I think we did a hot sauce, maybe like Nashville hot on there, something like that. So those are type of things that you kind of Nashville hot. So we'll do a play off of that. So as you know, the Oklahoma burger, right?
Favorite.
By the way, Val, I am seeing a lot of cheese, onion, and relish on that post you did, and people are like, "Yeah, I love it," and some people are like, "I don't know," but
it's how it goes, though, right?
I think it worked. It's okay. I think it went well, and it's a tasty burger. And some of the things we do is we kind of decide, do we do a cheese sauce or do we do like shredded cheddar? But I prefer to, I would like my items to be more warmer, more hotter on, so it stays that way. So we went with the cheese sauce there.
The cheese sauce was so genius.
Yeah. Well, thank you.
That's high praise right there. So
yeah, thank you very much. By the way, too, I will say the opponent burger and what we call now the dueling dogs, where it's an opponent dog versus our home dog. A lot of these ballparks now have taken up on it. They've kind of copied some of our own, but I've seen a lot of posts out there now where some people have gotten the idea of doing it, which, hey, great, more power to them. I love it, good for them, because, food is food. And in the baseball setting, who wants just, well, of course, it's still great, a hot dog and a beer and a pretzel. But, if we can go ahead and do something to really excite the fan and to get them to come back, and, again, something to maybe be memorable for them, that's the goal always.
Mm-hmm. I love the concept just because it teaches me a little about the city and the fans.
Yeah. Plus, it's the other thing is too, if you do come to more than one game, it changes, right? Like if you come to a different homestand, you don't have to get the same stuff all the time. We do so many different things. So
you're right. I mean, and also, by the way, imitation is a sincere form of flattery, my friend. So
I do. And again, no, I'm not mad at it, but
I would. Yeah, absolutely.
I do see them out there.
Like, I see you. I see what you're doing.
Yeah.
It was me.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. So.
Let me ask you, because right, like I was saying earlier, like food at sporting events have come such a long way from what they're at, right? Yeah. Like where do you see yourselves in a couple of years from now? Like, because I mean, this thing is just evolving every day.
Yeah. Listen, we have to create more and more, right? As far as what I do, or the chefs that are, that work with me or under me or whatever next to me, you can't stay stagnant. You do have to keep creating, right? Because just like anything else, things change, right? Everything evolves.
Oh yeah.
So, and as you know, right, food evolves quickly, very, very fast, right? And with social media now being such a huge, strong presence with food, right? I mean, it's like if you're doing something today, by tomorrow, it's old news, So you got to kind of stay ahead of the pack. But I do see us, just here's the thing I love, right? Now the chefs get to really use their brain besides their brawn, right? Cooking and doing all that good stuff. It's fun though to actually sit and create and play, right? Again, like I say, some things work out great and some don't, but that's the super cool thing about it, right? Like we can do it, and while it might cost a few bucks in the failure, we can make it back with the win, right? With the gain of having a great product. So, but again, just to answer your question, it's only going to get bigger and better. Honestly, it really is, right? Until somebody says we've had enough, stop it, and there are some really crazy items out there. I'm sure you've seen them already. And some to me don't quite look good, and some to me don't sound like they would taste good. But it's just the name of the game. You got to keep creating. And I will say one other thing though that could level it off is that the pricing when you go out, it's getting a little expensive, right? I mean, we all know that, right? You go to an event and you easily spend hundreds of dollars just on food and beverage. Like that's not your ticket and your merchandise and all that. So there at some point, while we might be able to get away with things for $25 for this really cool thing, and when we were at the Super Bowl, we did the lobster, or we did a seafood nacho with lobster and shrimp, and it was $58, right? Ooh. At the Super Bowl. I'm going to tell you though, we sold.
I'm sure you did
500 of them.
Wow.
Right. It was a one of a kind item, and honestly, I would not have paid $58 for it, me personally. But people are out there and they do that, right? So, but again, we also think in baseball and in our world, it's minor league, right? Kind of for the most part, and it's more family oriented, and those guys don't have that type of money, so we can't go too far with what we want to do. While we could add many things to make it extravagantly expensive, we try not to, because no one's going to buy it,
Yeah, I mean, you got usually a family of 3 to 4, right? Like, I mean, you want to be able to afford a ticket, parking, and all of that, but also food.
Yeah, sure, true, 100%. But again, I do. I'm probably bringing it back this year. I do a Wellington burger, so Val, about it.
Yes.
She lit up as soon as you said that. Like, oh, okay, here we go.
I created a play on a beef Wellington, and really what got me started was Gordon Ramsay, who's probably one of my favorite chefs. He's famous for his Wellington. Back in my gourmet room days, we had to make Wellingtons from scratch, just like he did. So I just thought, wow, wouldn't it be cool to do a Wellington, but instead of a filet mignon, we do a good burger patty. And it worked. Like it's a little bit time consuming to build, but if we build so many ahead of time and we bake them off, and then sell them with the sauce that we're doing and all that, I mean, it's great, and it's fun. And I got a lot of coverage for that. I had the news show that Wellington burger. Plus, nice. I mean, we've done quite a bit with that. Again, that is a higher priced item just because of what goes into it. But still, I run it as a special. Like I make so many, and when I'm out, I'm out. And that's the cool thing, right? Because it's kind of exclusive. And I will only run it probably for the last month of the year, probably through September. So
interesting.
But yeah, it's fun doing that. And again, that I ask a little more for, as far as
of course,
one of more higher priced items in the ballpark, but still. It's something cool and new, and actually really, really tastes good. Like it's really good. So, but it's a lot of food too. You could actually share that with two. So you'd be.
I won't. I'm gonna. I won't. Yeah. They can get their own.
Yeah, right.
I'm okay with not sharing.
No, I was gonna just say it's one of my favorites, and there's what I love about the Las Vegas ballpark is that every homestand really is like a new adventure. Not only from like the opponent burgers and dueling dogs, but Chef, I know you've kept, and thank you so much for keeping it, the prime rib sandwich, the Grand Slam Sammy.
Yeah.
I think this is so great because you said it best once. Vegas really is the prime rib capital of the world, and so that thing alone just is a great taste of Vegas. The truffle garlic parm fry fries, those are so.
My mouth just watered when you said that.
Yeah,
they're so good.
I will tell you the garlic truffle parm fries are actually one of my favorites. They are good. Like, and I don't. The funny thing is, right? I make almost you can toss it in the garlic and the truffle oil and the Parmesan.
Yes.
Right. But then I take a garlic aioli. So I make a garlic aioli and I put it on top. So it's now it has a little juiciness to it, really, and you can
Oh.
use it as a dip. But we kind of put it on there, try to get on every fry, and it's really good. And that is actually, to be honest with you, one of our bigger sellers out there in Vegas. Yeah, at the ballpark.
I believe
I'm
it.
so
The
hungry
garlic
now.
truffle fry. Yeah, it's a huge seller, actually.
I'm in the East Coast right now, and I just got done eating dinner not so long ago, and I'm like, man, those fries sound like
Yeah, they are. They're pretty cool. They're fun. Yeah, they're good.
Oh God, that sounds.
And
That
then
sounds.
you'll at the ballpark too. There's also some incredible vegetarian options. That
Yes.
black bean burger, so good.
Yeah.
Good black bean
Yeah.
burgers. Oh, that
Yeah.
hits.
Yeah, that is actually kind of, I try to eat that like once a week myself because I'm there all the time. So it's hard to just go home and eat at night when you get home at 9:30, 10 o'clock at night. But I will try to eat that black bean veggie burger. That's probably one of my favorites too. That's like 120 calories for that patty, and then, the bun is probably about 120, and it's like it's under 250 calories for that burger.
That sounds delicious.
Yeah,
That's all I'm gonna say on that.
Good for you too.
Oh,
It's healthier option.
no, I was just gonna say it's a healthier item.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Also, I introduced, now we have Impossible Dogs at the Las Vegas ballpark.
Okay.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
Here we go. Now we're talking.
Yeah. We had gotten quite a few folk that were looking for more plant-based food items, which we don't really do. Right? We just, you're at a baseball stadium, you don't do it. But I talked to the Impossible folks, and we worked out something, and so I got them there right now, and I actually do an Impossible burger upstairs in the club, in the a la carte. I don't have it downstairs yet in the concessions, only because I'm not sure if that'll sell or not. I mean, that's probably going to be something we do next year, though. But the Impossible Dog is doing well. I mean, we're not killing it with it, unfortunately. But for those that want something different,
well, a different option than the ones
Yeah,
the rest of us that we would eat a bunch of meat.
True.
Chef, I have another question about, specifically, could you talk us through real quick the chef's table and what goes into your thought process with the rotation?
Sure. Yeah. So up in the club, right, Val, that we have a daily chef table, and we call it a chef table. It's actually a buffet, but we try to be a little different, and because buffet is an easily used word, and sometimes you think of buffet and it's not.
It comes with it. Sometimes it comes with a negative connotation with it.
Right. So we call it our chef's table, and it kind of really is, because I do a 6-day rotating menu. So for every day that menu will change, and we try to theme it for the most part. We might have an Italian day, one day, and then the next day might be kind of picnic foodie. Then the next day might be pub food. The next day might be, like Western or barbecue, stuff like that. So we kind of change it up too, because the club, those seats are mostly season ticket holders, and they're there, if not every game, at least every other game, or at least twice a week. So, we try to keep it fresh for them. So yeah, we do quite a bit there. We try to have a good variety for them, kind of make it affordable. And then you will change it up about 2 or 3 times a year. We won't change it heavily, like completely, but we'll take a few items out, add a few new items in, because again, if you're there for the season and you do come to games, even once a week, you might, if you come every Wednesday, you're getting the same menu on Wednesday. So we try to change it up for those folks too. And it's fun though, because that's also an outlet where we can kind of create different menu items. Let's say, should we want to, let's just say I get a really good deal on something, and maybe it's a prime rib or something like that. I get good pricing on that, then we might add that to the chef table. So it's fun. It's kind of fun too, because again, we're always changing, and I also give a lot of my cooks a lot of leeway to be creative. So Val, as there's an area what we call the grab and go area, where it's like the fan favorites, where we do either hot dogs, sausages, sliders, mini sandwiches, something like that. And basically it's already built for them, so they can just grab it and carry on. So I let my chefs and my folks up there kind of just create whatever they want to do. So, nothing is written in stone up there. We kind of will change it out every now and then. But I just let the chefs go ahead and, have some fun and be creative, because that's part of the fun things of being in a kitchen, right? If you can start creating your own stuff because you might like a certain food that not maybe other people even know about, right? I mean, everyone has their one thing they do at home, whether it's, I don't know, peanut butter and, potato chips or whatever on a bread, right? So I let my guys kind of create there, and just kind of have fun with it. So, and it's super cool, and it keeps them excited too, my cooks. So it's fun up there, and it's air conditioned. So
yeah, that's the best part.
That's a big deal out here, right? So kind of fun for these fans to come up there. And we also do a chef takeover where we are letting chefs from the city, mostly Summerlin area, but I mean, we try to reach out to as far as the city lets us reach out to, and we get kind of chefs from other restaurants, and we give them like a guideline, and then they make their own chef table. Their food, and then it's also great for the fans and good for these ticket holders because they get something a little different, and it's good for the local businesses to actually, they're touching. If you go to the ballpark, on a good night there's 8,000-9,000 people there, and even on a slow night there might be 3,000 or 4,000 people. That's a lot of people touching, knowing that you have a restaurant and all that
something
good stuff.
to do with
well, it's good for the local businesses too, and they get into it, they get excited. We've had fairly successful ones this year. It's been really good. We have a few more upcoming. We have Husong's, which is going to be, I want to say, in September. I have William B. Steakhouse at the Suncoast. They're going to be doing something August 1st. And then we just got Pretty Soul Kitchen. They do soul food. So she wrote the menu. The chef is a wonderful lady, and she created a great menu. So she's going to be up there, and it'll be fun. It's just like super cool, the things that we try to do for the fans.
I hope you guys enjoyed this episode with Val and I. Now, make sure you guys come back next week so you guys finish this episode with Chef G, okay? The man, listen, he's a genius when it comes to creating a lot of these food items for the Las Vegas Aviators, and obviously you know already part of his story of how he got started. So make sure you guys come back next week to finish this interview. You guys are not going to want to miss it. Until then, make sure you guys are following Val on all of the socials. Make sure you guys are following the Dad Hack Chronicles, and tune in every Tuesday night at 9 p.m. Eastern time, where the Dad Hack Chronicles sports show is going on. We are not on Twitter anymore. Twitter is charging us a lot of money, so we're no longer on Twitter, but we are on YouTube and everywhere else except for that. All right, guys, and until then, keep grinding and always support the minor leagues. See ya.
This podcast is part of the Curved Brim Media Network. Here are some of the other members of Curved Brim Media.
Hi, this is Kelly Robinson, the Minor League Nerd. My YouTube channel explores the history of minor league baseball teams. More than just stats, we delve into team lineage, sharing stories from current franchises to obscure one-year wonders.
I'm Paul Caputo, and on the Baseball by Design podcast, I talk to minor league baseball teams, designers, and other super interesting people about what these minor league baseball logos mean, and I talk a little bit about ice cream helmets.
What's up, Bucketheads? I'm Anna DiTomaso, and each week on the Baseball Bucket List podcast, I speak with a different fan about their favorite baseball memories, what the game means to them, and what's left to check off on their baseball bucket list.
Hey everyone, it's Eric from the great state of Kansas.
This is Johnny from the New Orleans Baby Cakes Memorial Museum.
And we are the Earn Fun Average podcast,
where we talk to a variety of guests about their love of baseball and have fun doing it.
America, lower your standards.
Average is what we do best.
This is Patrick
and Corey
of baseballmapper.com. And we have made an interactive map to help highlight all baseball teams from the majors down to collegiate summer leagues.
We want to bring you closer to baseball. So get on the site and find a team near you today.
Hey guys, this is Patrick Larson from the Minor League Baseball Hat History Series. And in every episode, I go through the history of minor league teams through my personal collection of hats. You can find me on Twitter at @PatLarson1. I hope you guys enjoy.
Learn more about Curve Brim Media at curvebrimmedia.com.